man, real say shit. You already know what's going on. So Cordae just dropped his album From a Bird Eye's View, and despite all the TV press from him, from being on live TV, having performances, having his girl giving him a shout out at one of her tennis matches on live TV, but despite all this, he hasn't even made that good at album sales right now. Not good is an understatement. It's pretty ass. But before we get into all that, I'm gonna need y'all to like, comment, subscribe, and let's run this up, man, and let's get into it. So Cordae dropped his sophomore album after the Lost Boys success. It could have kind of put him on the map, and it started like an experiment of like lyricism and stuff like that. And it really was kind of a test to the rap community to see if you could really succeed as like the type of artist that is on like some lyrical shit. Like sort of like people were thinking, comparing him to like J. Cole of a younger generation, basically, in that they felt that he was saying like real bars and it would succeed and stuff. But as you can see by the sales of his second album, it was worse than the first album. It's understandable to sell like he sold the first album 25,000 units in the first week, which is understandable when you're a breakout artist. You didn't really have any huge hits. You had like some type of viral movement on the internet with that like one freestyle over J. Cole's beat, basically that song Old Niggas, I think is what it was called. So that shit basically went down, and he was basically a no-name first. He was in the group YBN, and then he sort of like came out on some separate shit, and that sort of like should have been sort of like an awakening, you know, like with lyricism. Everyone was like really talking about how he was a lyricist and how like he kind of had like such a strong like delivery and everything that people were really fucking with him. But then comes his second album, From a Bird Eye's View. Arguably, after your sophomore album, you have more funding from the label. He had a TV appearance. I think he was either on Kimmel or Fallon. He had his girl. She was in a tennis match. She basically wrote the album of the name of his album on a camera, a live TV camera during a match, like afterwards. So it's like this man had hella promotion and all this promotion, and he sold 5,000 less copies than before. He went a triple aluminum foil. He sold 20,000 copies first week. That is atrocious. Not only is it atrocious because it's like the numbers are low. Like if it was one thing, like if he sold like 100K like the first time, and then he sold like 80K or something, it wouldn't be bad. It would be a slight L. But this is like a terrible L. And this is like kind of proving the point that like no one gives a shit about like any type of lyricism anymore. Like all the people that don't really, people care about somewhat lyricism, but not in the way that like they want to hear it pronounced like niggas reading a book or something, you know. Like people, the most they want to get out of lyricism is on some Gunna shit, where he has a couple songs where he like talks about his life and his storytelling, but it's not corny, you feel me? Not to say that Cordae is corny. Like some people think it's a classic album. Personally, it's not like my type of taste, because it's like I don't know, this maybe it's just something about the pronunciation of how he pronunciates. It doesn't seem like chill, you feel me? Maybe this is just me, but I personally feel like the best type of shit that people fuck with is the stuff that like people don't seem like they're trying too hard. And I feel like that's kind of the problem with Cordae, is that he is like seen as trying too hard. He's trying, like, not trying too hard to be like a star or anything like that, but just trying to be like a fucking J. Cole or Kendrick or some shit like that, like a once in a generational like figure, when really he's kind of like a run-of-the-mill type rapper. I'm honestly wondering, debating if we're even gonna like sure, he's fire, he's always gonna have like a underground fan base, but I don't know, honestly. Does he even have a fan base? I know people appreciate his music, but if you're selling like 20,000, it's like you don't even have a fan base at that point. Like if you're only selling 20,000 units, it's like how are you doing shows for real? It doesn't even make sense. It's crazy. Like it really has me like debating, like this nigga be coming in like doing LA Lakers freestyles, acting like he's like the next coming of Jay-Z or some shit. But it's like, man, niggas were selling like these rap niggas that we have come across, like Jay-Z, Kendrick, J. Cole. Those dudes were selling like 100K before like streaming was as big as it was. Like, isn't that crazy? And these people have streaming where the people don't even have to buy actual projects and physical copies like that. All they have to do is listen to it, and people aren't even listening to these people. And it's just like a major problem. I feel like part of it is Cordae doesn't really have an identity. He hasn't really grown at all. Like, he's kind of the same nigga that was there, just more money and stuff. Like, you can make as much money in the world, but it's like, if people aren't connecting to your music, it's not going to translate later. Like, it's just going to be like a one-hit wonder. And sure, he has a couple hits, but are people still listening to those songs today? It just goes to show that it doesn't matter like what your content is. People just want something that's catchy. Like, look at the Gunna album. He beat The Weeknd for the #1 slot on Billboard. That shit is crazy. And it's like, he had songs where he was talking about stuff, but he wasn't trying too hard, you know? He was just keeping it like chill. Not chill like you have to be like laid back rapping, but it's like, if you're trying too hard to be something, no one's gonna appreciate that. You just gotta be yourself, not try to be some transitive figure and stuff, trying to like be like Gandhi of the rap world or some shit. Like, nigga, be yourself and people will appreciate it more. I feel like that's part of the thing that kind of makes it that he is not succeeding in the time that he is. And it seems like people are more moving into the direction of like hyper pop or like weird like offshoots of Playboi Carti style, like Yeet and like Ken and King Carson, shit like that. I feel like is what's gonna be popular eventually. And I feel like the classic rap, ribbity rap, lyrical, miracle, spiritual stuff for hip hop is on its way out. So it's just kind of shows that it like that type of shit is over, man. It's a new day. It's not 1985 no more. Niggas ain't going to the park. I went to the park after dark and rapping and shit, man. It's the fucking internet. You gotta get with it or get lost, man. I just hope that he has like a positive message, and I feel like he's a pretty smart guy. But when it comes to this music shit, it's like, this nigga don't be changing. You gotta change with the times. Everyone who succeeds changes with the time. Everyone who fails falls away into the distance and they end up like Trinidad James or some shit, man. But that's really a one-hit wonder. But hopefully this man can like go and like take the lessons learned from this and really make a new futuristic sound, not going back on some old boom bap beats, because as you can tell by the numbers, nobody wants to hear that shit, man. But hey, real say shit. You already know what's going on, man. If y'all fuck with this, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Yes sir, run this shit the fuck up. Peace.